This is Jaryn Hart.
And Brittany Harris.
So we're looking at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, and this is said to be one of the largest and most well-known churches in the world.
The construction process took over 200 years and ended in 1345.
And this was done in the Gothic style, which was different from the typical Romanesque, and it was said to be the best example of French Gothic architecture of the time.
That's right. The Gothic style had been seen as rather barbaric because everything else during the previous time had been in a Romanesque style, which was the characteristics of circular arches, thick walls, and super tiny windows.
New technologies were discovered
so that the building could be taller, and some of these technologies included the pointed arch, the rivel, and the flying buttress. These help to encourage less tension in the building. Originally, the cathedral was built without the flying buttresses, but they were added during construction as the thin walls were becoming thinner and greater tension was put on the building and stress fractures started to occur.
Another key characteristic of the Gothic cathedral was much bigger windows, which let in more light, in contrast to the Romanesque cathedrals. More light meant letting in more of God in a way, and it created a tension between the barbaric outside of the cathedral and the light inside.
In fact, one of the reasons why the Notre Dame Cathedral is so famous is because of this rose window, which was built in 1250. The south rose window reached about 12.9 meters in diameter, and including its bay, the total height was almost 19 meters. The south window symbolizes Christ's triumphant reigning over heaven, surrounded by all his witnesses on earth.
Every element in the Gothic cathedral was really to point their eyes towards God and to make it a more spiritual experience. It serves as a sacerdotal intermediary for the people then and even now.
Inside the cathedral, there's this very beautiful reliquary which holds the Catholics' most important first-class relics, such as the purported crown of thorns, a fragment of the true cross, and one of the holy nails.
Gothic cathedrals served as a center of worship of God, but they also served as a tourist attraction, which is why these relics were so important to this particular cathedral.
Throughout the cathedral's history, it had to be restored and altered because many times it was vandalized. For example, the Huguenots and the French Revolution and World War II, much of the religious imageries and the windows and the tombs were destroyed.
What's amazing, though, is that this cathedral still stands today, and through all of the vandalism and the destruction, it's still here, and we all can still enjoy its magnificent beauty. We are here looking at the art piece entitled "The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living" by Damien Hirst, and this work was done in 1992. This piece seems to look at the tension between life and death. As you can see, the animal, the shark, the tiger shark, looks very much alive, swimming in formaldehyde, and it can still inflict fear in us, but it raises the question, what does it mean to be dead?
That's a very good question because I don't think we could ever be able to fully understand and explain or answer what death really is. As it says in the title, the physical impossibility of death in the mind of someone living.
It seems as though this is his attempt to preserve life. He uses something concrete, something with flesh that we know was alive, so it makes it more real to all of us because we have flesh and we're living.
And even though he tried to preserve this shark, it had to be replaced because the body was just disintegrating. And this just proves that you cannot preserve life. It's impossible to preserve something that's dead.
And this is what people have tried to do time and time again throughout history. The Egyptians attempted to mummify their people to preserve them for the afterlife because they were unsure about death as well. The very interesting thing about this particular work of art is that it is a shark and a tank. And for me personally, this is the only way I've ever seen a shark. At an aquarium in a tank. So that's why I think this makes this so realistic. What makes this shark different from any of the other sharks I've seen at the aquarium? This one's dead, but it looks very much alive. Arthur Danto talks about this work, and he says, "The work in fact has the power, sobriety, and majesty of a cathedral."
What I find very interesting is that how he compares the shark to the cathedral.
Yes, and the shark can also act as a sacerdotal intermediary just as a cathedral can. A sacerdotal intermediary connects the sacré and the profane, and the sacré is the realm of the unknown, and I guess death is one of those realms that is unknown to us. And by pointing our eyes towards death, it makes us question our lives.